I want to introduce to you this evening our second speaker, Jonathan West. Many of you might know him from gettingamericaback.org. He's also an author. We are pleased to have him here today, and he's going to be speaking to you right now. Jonathan, let's give him a warm welcome, please.
I want to take this microphone off of here because my style is to get as close to you as I can. That's the way it is. You'll notice that my flag is waving in the breeze today, but it's still with me. And I should give you a little bit of information on my background, so you know, you're probably all saying, well, who is this? Well, actually, I'm not anybody particularly important, but I did write a book in 1999 called Goodbye America? ? It predicted what is happening now. That's just the beginning, because as time moved along and the century turned, I decided to establish a website that dealt with that. The website is gettingamericaback.org. And boy, there's an idea for you. And please forgive me for wearing my sunglasses when I'm facing you here like this, but I had to have a major eye operation, and a thing called crystal lenses were put in place of the normal lenses that you have in your eye. They're permanent, and it saved my sight. I will not be blind as a result. And Medicare did not pay for it. They won't. Medicare refused to pay for it. You see, that's what we want. We want more of that? No, of course not. So time moved along, and I've got my eyesight back thanks to private enterprise. And I'm able to see you out here. This wonderful sea. Oh my goodness, from sea to shining sea out in front of me here. And I see the Gadsden flag everywhere, the great historic flag that now has turned out to be the symbol of tea parties all over America. And now we are celebrating our 233rd birthday. It just occurred not too long ago. 233 years. Now, the question is, what has happened lately now that we are 233 years old? Well, we look at our media and we see porn, we see violence, we see promotion of the socialist concept, and we go to the professors and we see the socialist concept with a number of professors. We see the violence with a lot of the video games. Thank goodness we do have talk radio. Thank goodness we do have the Fox News Network. Oh boy, I like to hear that. Yeah, you know, we've also got other problems. We have a little problem on the southern border. You see, I'm from the San Diego area, and I've been to that border, and I know what's happening on that border. And I'm telling you, we do have an invasion on the southern border with drugs, with illegals, with violence, with just about everything imaginable coming across that border that we don't want to come across that border. And I'll tell you something else. It has gotten pretty bad. You know, Mexico City holds the title in the world as the kidnapping capital of the world. Guess what city is the second? It's Phoenix, Arizona! Right here in America, the second in line as the second most, kidnappings and other similar related crimes, the second most in the entire world. And why? They've checked on it. I've talked with the people over there in Arizona, and I have family there, and I know what the problem is there, and I can tell you right now, it's illegal aliens and it's also the Mexican drug cartels and all of the other activities of that nature. That is where it's coming from, and there's no kidding about that. Then we have problems with the civil law. It's, our civil laws become undependable and unaffordable. We can't afford it. And property rights, well, what happens now? The Supreme Court approved that if you have a piece of property that another businessman wants, and he knows how to use the government to get it taken from you and turned over to him, well, it can be done now, according to the new Supreme Court ruling. It's using the government as an instrument of plunder. That is not the American way. And speaking of what's not the American way, we now celebrate the 100 days of Barack Obama. And we find ourselves between Barack and a hard place. It's bad. And they've spent more money under this new president than all the other presidents we've had in the entire history of this nation combined. That's amazing. And how about the great new health plan for the government for health care? Something similar to what I didn't get? Well, we're going to have long lines, and we've been told by a number of them that, well, we can expect a certain amount of rationing. And if you'll talk to Canadians who come across the border here to get their health care when they can't get it in Canada, and if you talk to people in England and even some in France, of course some of them in France don't want to talk to Americans, but in England they do, and in Canada they do, and even some of them in France, and I want to tell you right now, they're going to tell you, if you talk to them, that they are restricted on their health care. If you're old enough that you've really pretty much had about all the care they think you should have had, then I guess you can go home and die. And how about the youngsters? We have the abortion clinics operating, and now they're talking about trying to legalize it. Even the latter day abortions become at the last trimester, at a time when the child could be alive outside of the womb, but then is forcibly taken out and disposed with. That is a terrible situation. So there it is. At the beginning of life and at the end of life, there are going to be some changes, and they're not good. So what does all of this mean? Well, we go on and we find out we have the dismantling of America. We have General Motors being taken over, and a lot of the financial institutions and banks being taken over. They're not taken over completely. Just they're given money and they're told, now you're going to have to do what we want you to do. And in the case of General Motors, they decided to fire the CEO. So I guess that means they can do an awful lot of things that really frighten a lot of people. There's only one way to describe that. All of these things I've been talking about. It's the dismantling of America. And of course, there's the liberal solution. The liberal solution is two parts. Either change the name of the problem or throw money at it. Have you noticed that? Those are the two ways they like to solve the problems. So here's how they do it with changing the names. Illegal aliens are now undocumented immigrants. And the war on terrorism, that's overseas contingency. Oh yeah. I'm wondering when they're going to change sleeping around for multitasking. It's really pretty bad.